Hello and welcome to a screencast to demonstrate Octave, a web-based tool for processing data recorded with GLS immersion loggers. These devices are generally used to record seabird movement and behavior over long time periods. My name is Thomas Mattern and I'm one of the authors of Octave, and in the following 5 to 10 minutes I will give you a brief overview of its core functions. In particular, I will guide you through the process of uploading and processing immersion data, or as it is more commonly known, activity data. And I'll stick to that term from here on. All you need to use Octave is a standard compliant browser, and we recommend Google Chrome or Firefox for the task. To access Octave, type www.octave.net into the address field of your browser and you're all set to go. The first step for new users is to sign up using their name, institution and email address. During the sign-up process, you will receive an email with an activation link, and this link will also direct you to a page where you can set your personal password. Once registered, you may log into Octave. Data processing in Octave starts with the creation of a new project. Projects can comprise of data from multiple immersion logger deployments. For our research, we always group our data according to field season, which means we usually upload data recorded in 1 year as a project. In this screencast, I'm using example data from 2 logger deployments on thin-billed prions from the Falkland Islands in 2010. So to start off with a new project, we enter a project title, in our case the location and the year the data were recorded, and pick the location of the logger deployment using the map on the right. And after that, we're all done with step 1 and can continue on to step 2 by clicking the Save and Continue button. Okay, now it's time to upload activity data. The most commonly used immersion loggers are the ones developed by the British Antarctic Survey. The activity data files generated by the software used to read out the loggers look like this. The data files feature comma-separated values that have a data quality column, followed by a date column, a column with another timestamp, and finally the column with the data we're particularly interested in, the activity data. Currently, Octave supports loggers that store activity data as 10-minute integrals. This means every row in the data file represents a 10-minute interval with corresponding timestamps and activity values which range from 0 to 200. How this value is derived is explained in detail in the paper we published in Methods in Ecology and Evolution, and you can find a link to the paper in the doobly-doo below. It is important to note that the activity files need to be compressed as a zip archive before they are uploaded. That also applies if you only upload a single activity file. The reason is that files can be several megabytes if uncompressed, and we want to keep the traffic to the server to a minimum. So, here I have a zip file which contains 2 activity files. Note that both files start with a 5-digit number. This is the unique identifier, in our case the band numbers of the birds that were fitted with the logger. This is important to match up the activity data with the GLS data which is going to be uploaded in the next step. Now after selecting the zip file, the upload starts automatically. Octave then unpacks the files on the server and provides a summary of the file names it found in the zip archive. Clicking the Save and Continue button brings us to step 3 and the uploading of the corresponding GLS data. While activity data can be used out of the box, so to speak, except for the file renaming to incorporate a unique ID that I mentioned earlier, GLS files have to be prepared by the user prior to uploading. Now the GLS files contain the unique identifier in the first column. Using this unique ID and the corresponding date and time in the next 2 columns, Octave matches the uploaded activity data with the spatial information in this GLS file. The geographic coordinates are derived using geolocation software provided by the logger manufacturers. Again, a more detailed description of the format requirements for GLS files can be found in the paper I mentioned earlier. Just check out the link below. Now, once the GLS file is uploaded, Octave provides you with a preview of the data. Make sure to check the order of the values in the latitude and longitude columns. You can always swap the values of both columns by clicking the link below. If all is okay, click Continue to proceed to step 4. In step 4, you can adjust the activity thresholds. Per default, Octave considers only rows with activity values of 0 as flight or on land, and rows with values of 200 as on water. Everything in between are classified as foraging. Now, we have used the term foraging in a rather liberal way. Obviously, a bird sitting on the water and maybe lifting its leg into the air for 3 seconds is unlikely to be engaged in foraging. So ideally, activity data is calibrated with additional behavioral information. For example, one could use accelerometers to determine which immersion value should be set as more realistic activity thresholds. Again, we discussed this in greater detail in the paper, so for now we just stick to the default activity thresholds. Suffice to say that every user is at liberty to adjust the activity thresholds using these sliders. Once you are happy with the activity thresholds, you can save your settings and Actaf will finally start processing your data. Once data processing has started, you may close the window or log out. Actaf will continue to process your data autonomously. Depending on the amount of data, the processing can take several hours. Once data processing is complete, you can click the All Done button, which will bring you to the project's results screen. I will cover the project section where processed data are visualized, can be downloaded or shared with your peers in a separate screencast.